Readers Entertainment Radio presents Booklights with your host, author Lisa Kessler. Booklights, where we're shining a light on good books.
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in to Booklights today. We are in the heat of summer, and so it's the perfect time to talk about romance, right? And today we have on author Katelyn Marie Peterson. And if you haven't read her yet, she's got a few books out for you to check out. And I'll read her bio here so you can get to know her. Katelyn graduated from Southern Connecticut State University with a bachelor's degree in journalism, and she writes freelance pieces for various newspapers. When she isn't typing on her laptop, she enjoys movie marathons, singing show tunes in the car, and cozying up with a good book. Katelyn resides in Connecticut with her husband and 2 children. She's a stay-at-home mom with a passion for romance, and you can learn more about her on her website. I did put a link right in the show notes, so you can click it anytime and sign up for her newsletter, follow her on social media. And so without any further delay, you there, Katelyn?
I am. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, great to hear from you again. So you have a new book out, right? Led by Her Heart. You want to tell everybody why they should go grab a copy?
Yes, actually, so it's Led by His Past. It's book 2 in the romantic suspense trilogy. Led by Her Heart is book 1.
I grabbed the wrong one. Okay, so Led by His Past.
That's okay. I'll talk about both. They coincide. So
okay, perfect.
So the series focuses on single mom and party planner Lynn Callahan and private investigator Jake Connolly. And they meet in book 1, Led by Her Heart, when Lynn hires Jake to find her missing ex-husband, whose mysterious disappearance is being framed as a drug relapse. Lynn and Jake, throughout the investigation, they struggle to fight their growing attraction to one another while trying to find her ex-husband, Drew. Book 2, Led by His Past, is told through Jake's perspective, with his ex-girlfriend, Dana Wilson, barging into his office after 4 years and demanding his help moments after Lynn drops life-changing news into his lap. His first instinct is to throw Dana out of his office, but Lynn convinces him to hear what she has to say. So Dana's sister, Hannah, has been murdered, and Hannah's husband is the prime suspect. All the evidence points to him, but Dana insists that he's innocent and wants Jake to prove it. Jake is a former homicide detective, and all of his instincts are saying, no, this does not have merit. But Lynn she reminds him, that not everything is always as it seems. So of course he listens to her. And now, in order to get Dana out of his life for good so that he can focus on his future with Lynn, he has to kind of think like a killer before another murder is committed. Possibly closer to home this time.
Oh, I love romantic suspense. Always twisty-turny.
Oh, yeah.
So you said it's going to be a trilogy, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is it the same? So it's the same couple for the whole trilogy?
Yes. Yeah. And then, so the last book in the trilogy will kind of just sum everything up, tie up any loose ends. And this time it would be told through both their perspectives so that, readers can kind of get to know both of them and see that. I figure that was a nice way to kind of bring everything together.
Nice. Okay. Well, when you were writing the second book, the one that just came out, how different was it for you doing it in his point of view versus hers, like the first one?
It was really different because all my other books are told through a female's perspective. So I had to kind of try and think like a guy, his thoughts, because obviously they're going to be different, when it comes to exploring those feelings. It's not going to be the same. So right. It was challenging because I was reading it back and I'm thinking okay, does this sound realistic or does it sound too mushy?
Right. Right. Yep. Well, as you're going through doing this, are you a plotter or are you more, pantser discovery writer? Did you know where it was going?
So with my very first book, California Betrayal, I was a pantser. I had an idea for family drama and I kind of just let the story fall into place. But because this book is romantic suspense and those details tend to be very complex because you have to blend a lot together, plotting is better for me. I realized like, okay, I gotta plan this out better.
Well, what was the inspiration behind writing a trilogy of one couple?
So I've always loved, as a reader, I've always loved books that combine romance and mystery. And I'm a firm believer in writing what you know. And so I wanted to bring these characters for this trilogy together in an unconventional way. And what's more unconventional than a party planner hiring a private investigator to find her ex-husband and falling in love with that PI along the way? And then as I was writing the first book, I realized the way I wanted to end it, it kind of ends on a cliffhanger. They need more, now that they're together, I need to, explore that more. Readers are going to probably want to know, like, okay, well, what happens next?
Right. Right. Yeah. Well, have you read other books where it's a trilogy of a couple that inspired you, or how'd you come up with doing that?
I mean, I've read a lot of romantic suspense books, and actually my inspiration comes from Sandra Brown's books. And I don't think she's ever had a trilogy, not that I've read anyway. They're usually standalones, but her books do inspire me because I'm a big fan of the plot twists. And and I love the way that she seamlessly combines, romance and suspense. And I don't know that I was necessarily even planning a trilogy until I realized, okay, I'm ending it on a cliffhanger, and maybe it'll be nice for readers to get to know the guy. So, and then as I was writing that, I was like, okay, we need even more. And if I was trying to make this a standalone, it would be a very long read.
Right. Well, how long are they going to have to wait for the third book? When does that come out?
So I'm currently working on that. I have it all planned out and I have started writing it. So, my goal is always, to keep them pretty close together, but sometimes life gets in the way, things happen. So, but my goal is to not have to make readers wait too long.
Okay. So when you were writing this, obviously you plotted this series, but did you have any surprises? Because if you come from being a discovery writer, that's always going to be in there. Did any of the characters, make a hard right and you're like, wait a second, what?
Yes, actually. So, I mean, going into the story, I knew exactly who I wanted my killer to be and who, the other suspects were, motives and everything. But as I was writing, and we're talking like maybe right in the middle of the story, I kept thinking of other ideas, okay, no, maybe this person needs to come back. Maybe they need to have a bigger motive. And before I knew it, I had to rewrite and include a lot more. But I think it was worth it because it kept that suspense. It kept that whodunit question going. So now you never know.
Right. Well, I find, because I am a discovery writer, but I find usually I get nervous when it turns a way that I'm not expecting, but it's always better than what I had planned. Did you just?
Yes,
well,
exactly. That's how I felt too. Yeah, because my feeling was like, okay, is this going to go too far off from what I originally had? But then I was rereading it and I thought, no, this is going to make it better, because then once the big reveal happens, it'll all make sense.
Right. Oh, I love that. Did you have a favorite scene when you were editing where you're like, yeah, this scene, this is my favorite in the whole book?
Oh my goodness. Yes. So it happens kind of toward the end of the book, or, almost at the end, but this specific scene, and I can't give too much of it away because, without spoilers, but this specific scene, I knew I wanted it in the story before I even began writing the book. It's a very emotional scene. And it's very important to the main characters, especially Lynn, because I wrote her to be this strong, successful person, really determined. And I did throw a few obstacles her way in the first book, with her ex being missing and she's a mom, so she's got to balance that. But I wanted to push her a little further in this book because I wanted to show readers just how resilient she is and how strong her bond with Jake is. So I think that this scene does just that.
Oh, nice. Nice. Well, as you're writing these, does any of your journalism background come into play?
Not so much with this book per se, but it did with my second book, Cold Sweat. And that was, I believe, the book that we talked about the first time I was on here.
You came on. Huh.
Yeah, so my degree did come in handy for that one because I had her. She wasn't writing for a newspaper; it was for a magazine, but it required her to be a little creative, which is obviously what I am best at. But I had her write a magazine article, and I had actually done that for restaurant owners. Like I did sort of like a profile piece, sort of promoting their restaurants. So that was really fun because, yeah, I did get to bring my degree into it.
Yeah, yeah. Did you have a hard time, or do you sometimes catch yourself doing it? Anytime that I've done writing classes, usually there is a journalist or a lawyer who struggles with that you get to be God because it's so ingrained in them to get the facts and put the facts down. Did you have a hard time switching gears into fiction from your journalism background?
You would think so. But the truth is I have always been a creative writer. And I think that's sort of what, I enjoyed journalism. I enjoyed writing the pieces, but I chose that path, when I was deciding what major I wanted, because I figured that would allow me more career opportunities. And I was trying to be logical, like, okay, I can put my writing to use. And I did try to make a career out of it. I wrote a lot of freelance pieces, but I was never able to find a full-time job in the field because I didn't have enough experience. I was too green.
It's that you can't get experience unless you guys give me some.
Exactly. And, it was a little discouraging, but I realized at some point, like, okay, you know what, maybe this isn't so bad because maybe I can focus on what I really love to do. And so that kind of led me back to creative writing, which is what I excel in, and I always have. So it was a blessing in disguise, really. And how I kind of went from one thing to the other.
Right.
But yeah, I think that me not being able to find a job in that field, it was a blessing in disguise because this is what I'm good at. It's my passion.
Right. It shifted you to your right.
Exactly. Yeah.
You have written a lot of romantic suspense. Is there other genres that you are interested in writing?
I would love at some point, because in addition to reading a lot of psychological thrillers and romance mystery and suspense, I really have gotten into rom-coms lately.
Oh.
Yeah, so I would love to do that. I don't know if I have the comedic chops for it.
Right.
But I love reading it. And so I would love to do something a little bit different and kind of write a rom-com at some point.
Oh.
I would just have to find the right story for it.
Right, right. Well, when you were making the shift from journalism to fiction, how did you go about, everybody's writing journey is different to publish books, but how did you get there? You self-published, don't you? Did you try finding?
So I'm published through a small publishing company, TWB Press. And I, because I had taken a writing workshop, and I was actually encouraged to try to find a traditional publisher because it would kind of lift the weight off your shoulders a little bit, because
Right.
And I give self-publishers a lot of credit, and because it's difficult. And I do a lot of my own, I do most of my own marketing, like, so, that alone is challenging, but if I had to do everything else,
right,
it's a lot. So that was my main goal, is when I finished California Betrayal, I was I hired an editor first so that everything seemed, polished and everything, and then I started querying agents and publishers, and I spent about a year doing that before I caught the attention of TWB Press, and I'm very grateful that I did because it's great. And the publisher and I work really well together, and so yeah, that was sort of my experience. And yeah, since then I signed the contract for California Betrayal with them in 2021, and then I've published 3 other books with them since. So it's become a nice relationship.
So tell me, what is next for you? What can readers look for next?
So I am writing the 3rd book in the trilogy. And so that's going to be told through both their perspectives and just a way to sum everything up. So it'll focus on a new case though, and it'll pick up right from where the Led by His Past ends. And what I like about these books, what I try to do is make it so that if you don't necessarily need to read them in order, because I do sort of give like little recaps. So if readers decide, okay, I don't really want to read this because that's not a case I'm interested in, they can read Led by His Past first if they wanted to,
Right.
I mean, it helps to read them in order because you see how they meet, but it's not necessary.
Well, and sometimes we stumble as readers onto a book and we don't realize that it's not.
Yes, I did that once. And then I realized, wait a second, I think this is a part of a big series.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So it's nice though when you can just jump in, and then hopefully you'll be so inspired you'll go back and read.
Exactly. And that's what I try to do. I try to make it like they're not standalones, obviously, but if you do read them out of order, you'll still know what's going on.
Right. Okay. Well, when somebody gets excited from reading your book and they want to talk to you, are you on social media? How do they find you?
Yes. So I'm on Instagram, at author Katelyn Marie Peterson. I'm also on Facebook, Katelyn Marie Peterson writer. I know it's a long,
I know.
I wasn't thinking about that when I created it. And then they can also find me on my website, katelynswriting.com. Much simpler off the tongue.
Yes. And we do have a link for that right in the show notes. So be sure to click that so that you can follow Katelyn and grab those books. So the first one is Led by Her Heart, and the new one is Led by His Past. And what's the third one that they're going to be waiting?
So the third one will be Led by Their Future.
I love it. Okay, great. Led by Their Future. Watch for that one. Does your publisher put things up for pre-order? Will they be able to pre-order it?
No, not usually. No, not for pre-order. But I do, like I said earlier, I'm hoping I won't have to make them wait too long. I'm in the middle of writing, so I'm hoping.
Yeah. So everyone keep your eye out for it. And if you follow Katelyn online on Instagram or Facebook, then you'll probably hear when that third one is coming out. Yeah. Okay, great. Well, thanks so much for being here. It was great to see you again, hear from you. And everyone go check out Led by His Past is the new one, but you could start with book 1, Led by Her Heart, and it'll get you all ready for Led by Their Future to Their Future.
By Their Future, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, thanks so much for being here, Katelyn. It was great.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for joining us on Booklights. Be sure to connect with us at www.readersentertainment.com for articles, blogs, videos, and podcasts that matter to readers.